me that gap looks like Moses parted the fucking sea. How?
I'm looking for a dime, that top of the line. Cute face, slim waist with a big behind. I need a dime, that top of the line. Cute face.
What's up, Shmoney Gang? Welcome back to another episode of Show Me the Monet. And today is Wine Wednesday, or Wine Down Wednesday, but we have Wine Wednesday every Wednesday. It just happens to be liquor instead of wine. But today, it is actually wine and liquor and other shit. So
if it's liquor, we gonna drink it. If it got alcohol in it, we gonna drink it.
And I want to say shout out to Dragon Glassware, because what you will see is me using my Barbie glasses. Yes, I said it, my Barbie wine glasses. You are going to see them in probably every Wine Down Wednesday episode from here on out, because listen, look at the glass. Look at the glass. Love it. Cheers.
This is giving. What is this? Love is Blind. Is that the show with the gold?
You watch Love is Blind, and they're pink on the inside. I would show you the inside, but of course, if you guys want to get these glasses yourself, I will leave a link down below in the comments. All right, so let me start here. I have not made a YouTube video in a month, 2 months. It's been a couple months, I'm not gonna lie, but I've been busy healing. So I've had a lot of exciting things going on, and you know what? It was important for me to take the time for myself. If you notice, from where I was in that last video to where I am now, I am glowing, I am happy, I have a new aura, and I am so excited to clap, yes, clap. I'm feeling like myself again, and that is the most important thing that I wanted to do this year, was to feel. So you just gonna take a shot. She's taking a shot. I'm trying to drink my wine and she's taking a shot.
It's a shot to that.
First things first, my birthday was last week. Week before? Last week, the 14th. My birthday, when I say lit, so I want to do a quick birthday recap first. So I had two of my friends take me to brunch 2 weeks ago, 14th, whenever that was. Two of my friends took me out to brunch. It was fabulous. We went to Cray Taste in Philly. I will also leave the link down below in the comments. Cray Taste was chef's kiss. The food was good. There is a DJ in there. It is bring your own bottle, but they do give you complimentary mimosas. I had like 4, and it was definitely lit. I had the time of my life.
It was strong.
I wouldn't say they were strong, but it was free.
Free is for me.
That's all that matters. And G doesn't like mimosas, so I had my 2 and her 2. So that's all that matters.
It was your birthday.
It was bring your own bottle. I do believe they charge you like a bring your own bottle, like a cork fee, like a bring your own bottle fee. But I actually do believe I didn't pay. So you know what? I don't even know if they actually had to pay a bring your own bottle fee. But either way,
How you gonna charge me for mouth? Sorry.
You're right. How you gonna charge me to bring a bottle? But yeah, it was lit. I definitely had a ball. An impromptu, what do you want to say? Block party. I had an impromptu block party later that night. That happened completely out of nowhere outside of my house, but everybody just started pulling up. So that was also lit. Wednesday, my someone special took me out to this Italian restaurant, and for those that do know me, I love Italian food. I could be Italian in another life. I'm Italian right now. Forget that. I'm Italian right now. So we went to this place called, don't get me the line, the Kitchen Consigliere, but it was really good. I don't even know if I said that right, but again,
Close enough, better than me.
Close enough. But it was definitely good. I'm a pasta girly. I absolutely loved the pasta. I definitely got, it was a blush sauce. Y'all know how I feel about blush sauce. It was a blush sauce. It was tortellini. No, was it tortellini? It was either tortellini in blush sauce or what's the other kind of whatever.
Give me the line.
The one that starts with a G and ends with an I. That. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I'm pretty sure it's gnocchi because she corrected me when I said gnocchi. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I don't know.
But I had that, and I think I had added sausage to it, and it was great. I definitely loved it. Definitely said I gotta go back again. It was great. Friday, my lovely sister threw me a party, and when I say a banger, I mean it was a banger. It was definitely one from the books, like a mini Project X. It was outside.
Started off as a game night, mind you.
We played all of one game.
One game.
And from then on out, it was just lit. People everywhere, booty everywhere. It was lit. I definitely enjoyed myself, and I can't thank my sister enough for throwing me that party. It was great. Surrounded by all the ones that made it a plan to be there because they are the ones that love me most, right? So it was definitely great. I enjoyed my birthday. We bought in 28 the right way, and probably the best birthday.
I'm sorry.
56 years old.
Damn. I'm sorry. Cause
28 was probably the best birthday I've ever had. I mean, on top of trips, on top of maybe little get-togethers, on top of dinners, 28 was the best birthday I've ever had. So shout out to my friends because they stopped at nothing to make sure that my birthday was amazing. So that's all that matters.
You should have spoiled this year.
I was definitely spoiled this year. Definitely spoiled. Now I gotta spoil everybody else back. So, but that's never an issue. We're lit. It's alright.
Lit.
I had a couple side conversations with a certain someone to see what's going on. But that is a conversation for later. So, today's topic. And I know that we get into those YouTube videos, and this was on my mind last night, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today. We get into those YouTube videos where it's like how to level up in 2024, how to boss up, how to glow up. When you see all of those titles, and what I noticed is none of these titles actually say how to heal. Like, I was one of those people that I'm always looking at YouTube videos, and it would be those how to boss up, and it would just be like, okay, but maybe I should start with the healing process first before I can level up, before I can boss up, before I can do any of that. There are things that I actually need to heal from, and those things you could just put it as trauma. And what is trauma? It's literally a physical, emotional, a mental reaction to a distressing or a disturbing experience that you don't even know how to explain how you feel sometimes, because all you can say is that it's trauma. And there are so many different types of trauma, and it breaks down further and further from acute to long term to consecutive. There's so many different types of trauma. So I feel like identifying your trauma first and foremost is it's the first step. That's the first thing you have to do, is being able to recognize it, understand what trauma is, and then you can begin to take those steps to be like, okay, how do I fix me? Not how do I fix the problem, but how do I fix me? And then to even jump off of that is more like, there is no waking up and saying, hey, I'm healed. I feel like healing is a ongoing journey. It is, yeah, it takes time, but it's also ongoing. You're not ever going to be 100% healed. That's never, I mean, maybe possibly. I'm not going to say never. I'm not going to say anything is impossible. But I feel like you're always going to need to heal from something. any type of trauma. There's people that take 50 years to heal from childhood trauma. And even then, it's like some of those people carry it with them to the grave. You never know. So
people need to recognize it, though. Like you said, that's the first step.
the first step
Don't recognize it.
is recognizing.
They're in denial about.
Cheers. Because you know what?
A lot of people, and then a lot of it starts stemming from your childhood. People don't realize a lot of the things that you go through as a child makes you who you are as an adult.
Absolutely.
So until you recognize what triggers you as a child,
Yep.
you ain't never really gonna be able to heal from it.
And I feel like that's a lot of the first actual trauma that you experience. And of course, as a child, you don't know that. You don't know what trauma is when you're 4 through, what's the age you would say? 4 through 17, 18. You don't even think about what the word trauma is. You more so go through life vicariously, not knowing anything. But there's also no way to really sit down a child and be like, hey, you're traumatized, and actually get them to understand, because I feel like that also comes with, with age, with wisdom, with growing, is that when your mind develops enough to be able to understand, like, hey, you know, my mom was abusive. You get what I'm saying? A child's not going to understand that because all they see is mom the superhero. But they're not going to see mom the abuser until later in life. So, not saying that, you know, it's a personal experience, but close enough. We'll say close enough. Because parents, a lot of the times, are your first abusers, and they don't even know it. And then it also makes me reflect on how I parent my kids. Because, like, I don't want to be your first abuser. I don't want you to have any abusers at all. But
it's life.
It's life.
And those happen.
And I think you can relate. Sometimes being the firstborn, you catch a lot.
You're the guinea pig. So,
you are definitely the guinea pig.
And you are. But I feel like as you get older, like you said, your mind develops, your brain develops, and as you become grown, and I'm pretty sure as you parenting, you know I don't have any, but once life starts going on, you kind of realize, did they mean to? Were they conscious that they were emotional, physical, whatever? Now, some people are dead ass abusive and just go off, but there are some parents who are good parents that still have caused trauma, you know what I'm saying, in your kid's life and didn't even necessarily realize. And there's certain things with my mom growing up I didn't like, but now being grown and going through these things, I'm like, she wasn't doing nothing but just trying to make it the best way she knew how.
Right.
So we had to have those hard conversations, and our bond got a little better with those hard conversations.
I agree. But it's also having a mom that's willing to have
listen.
that conversation.
At one point, she didn't. But, because, you know, you don't want to feel like, well, you know, as parents, like, damn, I gave you my everything. I tried my best.
I agree.
And I get it, but you still have to be open to know sometimes your best has flaws. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be willing to listen to what your kid, you know what I'm saying, went through. How you witnessed things as a parent going through, your kid had a whole different way. You know what I'm saying?
And so, I feel like you've had that hard conversation. And till this day, I don't even think I can have those conversations with my mom. And you know why? Because it's like, what comes with that? Even a simple conversation leads to defense. And it's like, I can't express my emotions to you being your child. And it's like, at what point would you stop and say, my child needs to have a safe space too? And I'm not even being that. So I literally aim to just be that safe space, especially for my son, because like, he's getting older. So Cam, I got some time before it's like, and even then I still recognize her as like, hey, I am your safe space. So even if she's still attached to my boob, I know that's her safe spot.
She's gonna be attached to that baby for forever.
I'm still currently breastfeeding, and we are about to be 18 months on the 3rd. Cameron's about to be 18 months on the 3rd, and she's still breastfeeding. And it doesn't necessarily, is time flying? It doesn't necessarily bother me all the time, except for when I'm overstimulated. But she is definitely still on the boob, and I just recognize that as her safe space. I don't get super upset. I just be like, you know what? I'm your safe space. This is where you come to reset. This is your unwind. Her wind down Wednesday is mom, where's the boob? And sometimes we're just like, okay. And she's so freaking cute. I just can't help it. No, my mommy's little baby. I can't help it. I can't help it. Especially with the sheer chance I may not have any more. But I said chance.
She talks this shit. She gonna have release.
I said chance. My IUD is locked in tight. I'm not playing them games right now. But as soon as I take it out, baby, we are in trouble. But still, back to the original topic. It's trauma, and so many people don't realize how many traumas that they deal with. And it's not just relationship trauma, it's not just childhood trauma. It could be current family trauma. Like, I got trauma with my family. I feel like my family is so dysfunctional, and they'll probably see this video and be like, oh, she said what? Yes, I said it. Dysfunctional.
Dysfunctional. Can you
Feel like some of them are fake. I feel like they pick and choose who they want to say. The family trauma. I'm not going to get into it. Family trauma, childbirth, postpartum. And with my son, I didn't have as much postpartum as I think I should have. And it wasn't no depressing state. Maybe it was a little bit. It was a little bit of postpartum, but I don't think it was a lot. I feel like I felt it a lot more with Cameron than I did with TJ. So
it was a good gap. We're older by the time we had Cameron.
It was a good gap. And maybe it affected me a little differently. But I probably didn't pinpoint whatever I was going through with TJ as being postpartum. There were little things, but I don't think it was as major as it is now. Like, childbirth is a sick experience. Postpartum can be 2+ years. It can be 2+ years. You don't always bounce right back to who you were before then. And it definitely took me a while. It definitely took the support of friends and family to be like, get yourself together. It didn't help that I had that crappy relationship too. And I feel like when I look back on it, still, it's more like, I almost feel like I trauma bonded. Again, I feel like I trauma bonded because it was just like, someone seen me and gave me breadcrumbs of love that I thought I needed at that point. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm pregnant. Who's really going to sit with you in a relationship? Not even a relationship, because we weren't even official until after I had Cam. But who's really going to sit with you at 5 months pregnant by somebody else and be like, oh my God, I love you. And I took those little breadcrumbs and thought I needed more.
That's where I feel like some of the manipulation comes into play.
I think manipulation played a huge part in that. It played a huge part, especially when it's like, oh, you have a lot of baggage. Sir, I have 2 kids, 8 years apart with 2 different men, but they are 8 years apart still. They're not back to back. They're not, I don't got 3, 4, 5. No shade, no tea.
And let's be real, your first baby dad was your fiance. You was planning on marrying that man.
Exactly.
So if we're going there.
Was my fiance that second one? Technically, he is a sperm donor. That's what the game plan was in the beginning. But things took a turn, so and that's okay.
I got my cute niece out of it. So
I got my girl. But at that point, you gotta think about it. I didn't think I could have any more kids either. I thought I was done. I thought it was over. Like, I had a doctor tell me I was infertile. Like, it was not happening. I was on fertility pills years before I had Cam. But then at the same time, I was like, I don't even want to take fertility medication because I'm like, if it's not meant to happen, it's not meant to happen. You get what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden, I'm pregnant. And I'm just like, oh shit. Like, this is real. Drink responsible, people.
I just want God to bring me. Oh, okay.
My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce.
Pause.
So, as
That's the kicker. My desire, this is what he says, my desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. And when I say I understand, however, if you're gonna make 8 kids, it's like, why can't you make 8 kids with one woman? What, I'm not gonna say can't, but couldn't. Why couldn't that have happened? Because if you think about it, back in the days, that was a thing. You're making 8+ kids with your wife, not with this woman and that woman and that woman. Continue. Well, we're gonna get into that.
I just feel like that's how you create a whole bunch of broken homes. Like, when did we get to the point where it's normal for you not to want a wife and kids? Like, just to impregnate women and say, oh, you know,
you got
I'm gonna be there, and just because you got money, because you a football player, was football, right?
Yes.
Been drinking. Don't judge me.
Yes, he is.
Yes. I don't remember what team for. I just know he looked crazy. Anyway, he looks in that interview. He looked like you watched Princess and the Frog. The voodoo man. That's who he looked like, and you over here talking smack. Next time you want to do all that, look like somebody making all that damn money. Anyway,
that's his style.
I can't. I don't like it. But it's just, to me, when did that become the norm? Like, y'all want to judge all these women for having different, all these kids with different men, but where do you judge Cam Newton and Nick Cannon? You know what I'm saying? Nick Cannon got how many baby moms and like 12, 13, 14 kids? It's like, and you ain't been married to not near one of them except for Mariah. So when did that become the norm? And just because you have the money to financially support your kids, if you got all these different kids but all these different people, when do you have the time for all these kids? And that's where we go back to childhood trauma, because where the hell is my dad?
Right. Exactly.
Now I got this sister, this brother here and there. That's what creates all that drama. That to me makes
you're not
no
growing
damn
up
sense.
in the house with them. You get what I'm saying? It's like you don't have that same connection. We can use Cameron for an example. You get what I'm saying? Her dad, I'm one of 3 baby moms. Now, even though all of those other 5 kids, 5 kids, 6 would include Cameron.
Oh, the other
6,
5,
right? Those 5 kids are in the same household. Yes, I have a shot. Those kids are in the same household, but Cameron misses out on that.
It has to be where I had this conversation with my mom probably maybe a month ago. Not even talking about kids and me not having any. She wasn't grandkids, and while I'm taking my time, I told her that, I said, no disrespect, but I don't want my child to have what you gave to me.
Right.
Did I want for it? Did I want for shit? No, my mom took care of me financially. I didn't have nothing. If the cable was off or our phone was off, I always had food. I always had water. I had electricity. She always made sure I had clean clothes. That was never a problem. But did I want my dad and my mom to be together? Yes, I did. I definitely did. I wanted to come home and be like, Dad, this is what I'm going through. This is my day. Me and my dad are like this. My dad, I played basketball. That was how we bonded. My dad couldn't be there. He was there, but he couldn't be there as much as he wanted to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because of that.
Right.
And then on top of that, when you move on and you have other husbands or other kids, that dad being around makes that other husband or wife sometimes feel some type of way. It's a whole big ass cycle that made me feel some type of way as a kid. Now, granted, me being grown, do I understand? Yes, things happen. Life happens. But in a perfect world, would I have wanted my dad there? Yes. Yes, I did. They were married. Things didn't work out. Yeah, I understand. My mom didn't have a whole bunch of kids. My mom was a men. All of them were her husbands. You know what I'm saying? She was married. Well, the first one she had before she was married. Then she got married. But that became her husband. But I wanted my dad. And that's what I want for my kids, is for my kids to have both parents in the household. You know what I'm saying? Two happy parents. I ain't saying suffer and be miserable and argue in front of your kids just to do that. I don't think that's healthy either.
I think that's where we differ. That's where we differ. At a young age, I had some type of understanding. I didn't want my parents to be together. And I feel like it forced me into a space I didn't need to be in yet. You get what I'm saying? It forced me to be like, yes, would I have wanted my dad there? Absolutely. But at the cost of seeing my mom upset, no.
Well, Pisces and Gemini, hell no. But
yeah, look at my stepmom is a Pisces.
You can't leave him alone. But like, I understood, because once I even got more this past weekend of how quick my parents moved, quicker than it was quick.
They were young
and it was quick. Like, once my dad ran down the timeline, it was very quick. I think they were married within a year of even being like,
okay, I didn't know that.
Less than a year actually before they were fully, like, my dad proposed to her within I think like 6 months, he said, or something like that. I do not need, just playing. Like I said, me being an adult, I get it, but that's why I take my time. That's why I'm just not out here rushing to have kids, not doing whatever because I want what I want. I don't feel like I'm wrong for wanting what I want.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying? I just feel like I want my kid to be fine financially, mentally, have both parents, we're stable. Like, that's what I want. I just feel like I said, life happens, but rushing and just having kids with anybody, to me, that just don't sit right. Like,
now, I don't think that Cam Newton, I don't think it's a anybody.
It's not. They say he's selective.
He's selective, but at the same time, it's like,
you don't want to get married, but you still want to have more kids.
Just whatever God brings me. It's like, what? Like, these are kids you're talking about, not a teammate. I'm not understanding that. And you know, I agree, because on the other hand, I have 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? And if I was to go back, now granted, I was engaged that first go around, while if I probably would have gotten married, it probably still would have resulted in.
But you were also young as hell. You were pregnant when we graduated.
Yes, I was pregnant when we graduated in 2014, and that same year I got engaged. We both got engaged that same year, but I was pregnant at the same time.
Disclaimer, y'all, I was married. That's where the trauma comes in.
I had to take a sip of my wine.
We talking about trauma.
And I don't ever think I actually sat and talked about it, but I do feel like my baby dad caused a lot of trauma too. It definitely caused a lot of trauma. It's already traumatizing enough to be pregnant at a young age. And all of the pressure that I felt at that time, nobody wanted me to have TJ. Nope. Damn.
You can take half.
Nobody wanted me to have TJ. Nobody except for my grandparents. And when I say nobody, I mean aunts. I mean my parents. I mean, nobody wanted me to have TJ. But I didn't have it in me to be like, let me go get an abortion. That wasn't fair to my kid. I couldn't. It's not in me to get an abortion. That's my whole thing. Now, if I absolutely have to, this day and age, then maybe. But I don't like how it's become a thing where it's like, hey, I got pregnant, I'm gonna go get an abortion. I feel like that's very traumatizing, not only to your mental and your emotions, but your body. It's like, no shade, no tea, because I know I got friends. I got friends that has had quite a few, but no shade, no tea. To me, I can't bring myself to do it. So being pregnant at that time was already enough trauma, but then to also be with someone who wasn't mature enough to understand that we have to work as a team. At that time, I just felt like I grew up, and I will always say this, I grew up, but he didn't. But also till this day, he will say he got me pregnant on purpose. So it's like, even after a while and him admitting that and looking back to it, it's like, so you wanted to stop my life because of your own selfish reasons. You didn't want me to go anywhere far. But mind you, I was supposed to go to the Air Force. I was supposed to be out of here, going. I mean, I was already getting ready to take my ASVAB and everything. Because of your selfish reasons. And again, I'm not trying to say all men are like this. But it's like, because of what you want, you stopped my life. And not only did you stop my life, but you made it difficult after the child was born for me to be able to still live and be a mom. There was no room for me to still grow as a person because I had to focus on, now I brought a child into this world I got to take care of. Now I'm working 6 days, 12 hours, and you're living your best life. So you took my best life from me for your own personal selfish reasons, and then turned on me and said, I'm going to go live my best life while you take care of this kid.
And that's another thing with the men wanting to have all these kids. 9 times out of 10, who do they live with? Their mother.
Exactly.
And you can say you want to claim, you want to take these kids, but half of them don't even have the mental capacity to take them full time.
Exactly. I would have never in a million years back then would I have trusted my son with all of his medical conditions and things like that. I would have never trusted him with his dad at that time. But again, that also forced me into a spot where I have to mature faster than you. More. I've already had to mature faster because of my childhood. Because of having to raise my brothers and having to have them 24/7 and having to do this and be responsible. I've already had to mature so much to where now I am having my own child, but now I have to mature more when at 18, 19, 20, 21, you're supposed to be living your best life, not taking care of a kid. I feel like men don't understand that they're taking some type of power away from the woman. They don't understand that. You're taking something. You're always saying she's already given her whole body to bringing your seed into this world. Now she's got to lose her mind too. She when you decide that you don't want to be in this no more, you can walk away. But she can't. I mean, she could, but what would society say about her then?
Yeah, it definitely looks worse when the mom lives in the dad. But see, that's the sticky part about the abortion thing. That again, where I feel like we may differ, because
don't forget I said now is a different story.
Yeah, now I get what you're saying, but you already have 2. I don't have any. But if I felt like a slip up happened, which I don't have any, again, that's why I don't have no kids. But if a slip up happened and I don't feel like I could raise a child with this man, or I don't feel like I could trust him to step up, I never want to raise a child by myself. Now granted, the way how my family is, my child wouldn't want for shit. My mom wants grandkids so bad, they wouldn't. But again, that goes back to my wanting both of them. Mistakes do happen. And I'm very much pro do what the hell you want with your own body. But my personal opinion, a slip up or 2 to max. Okay.
2 max. So you're putting a limit on it.
Yeah, not yet, because then I feel like no, but that is because abortions do mess with your mental. I'm trying not to drop no crazy cuss words. It does mess with your mental. It does mess with your body, and too many can even prevent you from when you're ready to have kids from having kids. You get what I'm saying? So, and I don't see it as a form of birth control. So, okay, boom, you got pregnant, now I'm about to get this abortion. You got pregnant again, now I'm about to have the abortion. Now I'm about to do it again. I don't see it like that. But I do feel like if grape happens to you, you get what I'm saying? I don't feel like you should be forced to have a kid.
You're right.
Life happens to you. Right now I'm in a process of trying to change my job and go into a career. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my life in order. I've been trying to get my life in order, but getting my life in order and together from the past things that happened. And even then, I felt like before I could even get to the step of wanting to take it, healing, trauma, like all that trauma stuff that you was talking about, that trauma, I had to heal myself to even be like, okay, Asia, this is what you need to do. But the healing and things need to happen in order for you to move on.
Absolutely. You have to get through, you have to go through the motions. That's first and foremost, is going through the motions. It's like, don't suppress them, let them happen. And that was one big thing I had to learn, especially in these past 5 months, is let the emotions come out. Because what else are you going to do? You're going to suppress them, and one day you're going to blow up. That's implode. You're going to implode. I didn't really know that word until that sub stuff happened.
You're going to be like Squidward in the episode where he ate all them damn patties. Whoosh.
And you don't know what's going to happen at them, and you can end up in a mental asylum from suppressing your emotions. So even in the steps to get over something traumatic, it's like you have to let the emotions roll. I've had those tears. I've had those days where it's like, man, I'm stressed. I don't know what to do. I don't know which way to turn. I don't know how to feel. I can wake up, especially when you're going through postpartum at the same time. It's like, I wake up and it's sadness. It's not happy every day. Like, of course I love my kids, but it's also a sadness. Like, I took so much away from myself to give to them. And even though their lives are more precious than anything, but so was mine. So to have someone even selfishly come in and say, hey, I don't want you to live your life. I want you to sit here with my kid and raise my kid is crazy. Now the second go around with Cameron, it was different because I wanted this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this pregnancy test says positive. I'm like, okay, great, wonderful. I don't care what he had go. You can go exactly where he is right now, non-existent. You don't exist to me. You don't really exist to her. She don't even know who you are. And unfortunately, while a lot of people are looking at that like, well, dang, she needs her dad. Her dad also had the olive branch to be here.
Yeah, it's a best vacation. I don't care if you see this. You're a weirdo. Sorry.
Still, he had the olive branch to be here multiple times.
He did.
And chose not to. Even when my original plan was what? Nothing to do with you. You're not on the birth certificate. You don't exist. In her, she doesn't even have your last name. Because to me, once it was done and over with, and you were done being a narcissistic control freak, and I was done with it, you don't exist. 3 months pregnant, and I'm just like, see you. Goodbye. I can do this. What would have been the difference between that and me getting a sperm donor?
Which some people do.
And some people do. They get sperm donors because they want kids. They don't want the partner. And I feel like with Cameron, that was a big thing. I wanted Cameron. I did not want the partner to come with that. No matter what the struggle was after that, I wanted her.
Or maybe that's how Cam Newton feels. If I'm being devil's advocate, which I don't agree with, but maybe that's how he feels. Like, all right, she'll get mom or whatever, but I don't want the partner. I just want the kids.
This is very true. I didn't look at it that way, but maybe that is how he feels, and that's why he said that. What did he say? His fear of his desire to marry
is lower than his fear of
divorce. But what is really his fear of divorce? Your fear of divorce is somebody's going to come in and take everything that you have?
Probably what it is.
Because
married 50-50.
I don't see it being not an emotional thing, but kind of like an emotional thing. It's part emotional, but for someone like Cam Newton, it's like, yeah, someone's at risk to take everything you got, bro. But to the average Joe Schmo, what's the fear? Especially if you have nothing.
Child support.
Child support can happen whether you get married or not.
True.
That's my baby daddy. That's my baby dad. Child support can happen. We was engaged. We wasn't married. And he's still on that child support. I'm sorry. But when he wanted to go live his best life, and I had to call you for some diapers, and because you were with the new supply, I was being treated like I was asking for too much. Oh, okay, give us child support. Yeah, that's where you go. That's not fair. I feel like today's age is so different than how our parents and how our grandparents did it. And I'm not talking about inflation, because inflation is crazy right now.
I don't even want to say our parents. I want to say the generations before that, because I feel like low-key that 90s, the late 80s and 90s babies is when it really started with the deadbeats, the dads wanting to do what they want to do, they running around. I even had this conversation with my dad, like, really, your generation of men started it off, because now if you're not there as a dad, and then and the baby mom had a boy, and the boy don't know how to have a dad, doesn't know how to be a dad, didn't watch what it's like to be a man, and has to go through uncles if they have them, or other men. That's how them going to the street looking for father figures. You get what I'm saying? All that weird stuff. If they don't know how to be a man, it just continues to keep that same cycle.
Trauma.
Again, we're going back to that, and it continues that same cycle again. Why I don't want to. I mean, you could still be a great dad from afar. My dad was a great dad. I'm not taking that from him. But I wanted both of them be there. You know what I'm saying? You need your mom. You need your dad. You need some type of father figure. You need some type of mother figure. You need that.
I agree.
You need that.
My dad was there. So my dad's locked in. Hey, Will, where's you at, Will? That's my dog. I hope my dad does not see this. Listen, my dad was a fantastic dad, even though he was not in the house, and even though I did not want him and my mother to be together. He was a fantastic dad. And I feel like my life wouldn't be much more different if he was in the house. I'm not like, I feel like it wouldn't be that much difference, and everything that happened was supposed to happen. And I feel like, honestly, having, and you're gonna look at me crazy for saying this, having my stepmom as a stepmom has also molded me differently, and a part of me is very grateful for that. Very. And now you know how I feel deep down inside. You get what I'm saying? But I feel like without some of her influence, I wouldn't be who I am today. I feel like I would probably just be like a ball of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like while I will say she has her ways. She has her ways about her. I love her dearly. I love my stepmom. But I feel like without her and my dad being together, I would not be the person I am today. I feel like in a sense of confidence, she has definitely played a part, and I can admit that. She's definitely played a part. Like whether it was negative or positive. If it was something negative that came from her, now I know how to combat that with a positive. I'm not worried about what you're talking about because I am who I am, and I'm grateful for that. Or the positives where I would say she has no filter. I have a filter. I know better. I have a filter. I do have a filter. Don't do me. I have a filter. There's a lot of things I could say that I don't be saying because I have a filter. I have a chill, and I've learned from her to sometimes you really need to have a filter and shh. Sometimes you shh. Like she definitely has played a part in my confidence, and I will give her that. Now with my mom, I feel like if it was just always my mom, I feel like that wouldn't have happened.
My stepmom played a part. She definitely did. I can't say she didn't because my almost 28 years of living.
Huh? Speak up. We can't. The people can't hear you, baby. You what?
I still have a month and some change.
You're 28.
You're 28.
Right. I am 20.
You're 28. You're knocking on. Hello?
You right behind me.
That's 30.
You right behind me.
I'm behind you, not in front. That's all that matters. Anyway. In my almost 28 years of living, my stepmother, which I don't even like using that word because she's like mom number 2. She has been there for 19, 20 of them. I think that's all my dad and them have been married. And
yeah, just
so,
about to say.
roundabout. So
yeah.
She's been there a long time. And I love her. I wouldn't have my brothers without them. I learned a lot. But there still is that piece of me, and we're talking about trauma, that inner kid wanted my dad. I wanted my dad. Now, like I said, do I appreciate not having to watch them argue and deal with that? They end up being great parents. They co-parent. They were like best friends. They're still cool to this day. I found out not too long ago with my own life trauma that I'm trying to deal with myself. They called each other, me at this 27 right now, they called each other to talk about me and prayed for me together. That's how still, like they still parent to this day. But again, would I would like that together in a house? Yes. But
your parents is better than mine. My mom won't even sit in the same room as my dad for too long. Like, we got to go. And I wish I knew why. I wish I knew why. Because, if I ask why, you already know how my mother is. If I ask why, it's because I don't want to. Because I'm not doing it. And I'm just like,
maybe
not even for the sake of your grandkid. Okay, so let me get this straight. Okay, there was no cheating involved. You get what I'm saying? That there was no cheating. I know this for a fact. There was no cheating involved. There was no overlap of my mom and my stepmom. So it's more like, okay, you guys didn't work. I'm still here, but now you have grandkids. So unless I remind you that you know what situation I'm talking about. Unless I get a public space, you refuse to step foot in my dad's house. Because remind you, the situation was I could have Cameron's first birthday party, not have to pay for a rental building, and have her birthday party there, which my dad's house is per se big enough to fit everybody that came. My mother said she was not going. Wait a second. Why? Because I'm not. What is your beef?
But then again, like that goes back to our previous about trauma, and it's probably something that happened that our parents like to pick and choose what they like to tell us, that she still needs to heal from. And that we said that people will go years and years and years and not recognize the trauma.
That is true.
And maybe that is your mom's problem. Love you, Mom, but that might be it. She's not taking time. Just like we had an earlier conversation where we said with your own childhood trauma that you couldn't sit down and have these conversations, and it's maybe because she really needs to sit down and reflect upon herself, and maybe that's not what she's doing. And the same thing with her. She might even beyond your dad maybe have her own childhood trauma. I ain't tell you nothing from Barb and everything else,
right.
But we weren't there for your mom's childhood.
So everything basically is a snowfall of unhealed trauma. And that's what we keep coming back from, is that trauma, it doesn't stop.
What you say earlier, you don't like the when people say 360, but that is dead ass a 360 that keeps happening. Not a 180.
It's a snowfall. It's literally a snowfall effect. Like all of this unhealed trauma, and whether you feel like you're healed or not, but how has that trauma already passed on to your kid? And how does that trauma, when you pass it on to your kid, how's it going to pass on to their kid? Like you have no idea the effects mentally and emotionally that trauma could have on your life and lives after you. So even with you saying that, that is a good conversation for me to sit. I'm not saying that's ever going to happen in this lifetime. I'm going to pick up my drink for that. I'm not saying it's ever going to happen in this lifetime. But if we were really to sit down and be like, you know, Mom, I want you to talk about your trauma, and maybe it would help you release it. Even if it's just a small release. What is the animosity? What is the, specifically to my mom, what is the animosity? What is the issue here that we can't all sit around in a circle and sing kumbaya, especially when it comes to you having 2 grandkids? It's not even just about you guys sharing a child anymore. You guys share the only grandkids in the family. Mind you, my siblings, none of them have kids. I'm the only one that has kids. She won't have this problem with, let's say, my brother's dads. She won't have that problem to where it's like I have to sit in the same room as my baby dad for my grandkids. She's only ever going to have to run into that with me. Again, trauma. We all have different dads and the same mom. On my dad's side, they have a different mom, my stepmom, and we have the same dad. So let's per se say my dad and my stepmom choose to get a divorce. Then that starts another era of the problem that's happening with my mom and my dad. Because then it's awkward for, I mean, my stepmom's not like that though. She's going to show up regardless. My stepmom's not like my mom. Them both being Pisces, my stepmom's not like my mom. My stepmom's still going to show up, but it's still going to be that little bit of, what do you want to call it, resentment? Maybe it's the resentment that comes from it. I never really sat and thought about it till right now, but maybe it's the resentment. Maybe my mom's holding on to a lot of resentment that's still like, I thought I was going to fight with her just to take a picture with them 2 together. Like, hey, these are my parents. I don't know.
That's what I said. Well, when you said
And
that.
your parents can call each other on the phone. My parents don't even have each other's phone number.
They do. Now, do they talk often? No. But, again, being depressed, they're watching me. I'm trying. They had that conversation, like, still trying to figure out my life. Especially you had a child at a young age, but I got married at a young age and fully didn't know myself. So now, going from my mid-20s to my late, I'm trying to figure out who Asia is. So in that space of trying to figure out who Asia is, especially when your life did a whole Did a whole spin around when you thought your life was going to go one way.
180.
I said spin around. I didn't say 360, nothing. I didn't even put I didn't have a degree. I ain't good at math. I said spin around. But you think your life's going to go one way and it goes to another, and now it's not you and so anymore. Now it's just you, and you have to figure out who you are and what you like to do and how things work. How do you want to move now? And that's not something you can come up with overnight, especially with me damn near coming out of high school, because I graduated when I was 17. I'm damn near 18, and then turn around and get married at 19. I didn't really have time to figure out who I didn't finish college. I didn't do none of that. Didn't know who I was. So I guess they felt that, because at one point that was them. Like my mom, she graduated college, got married, had me. It was all boom, 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 boom. You never had that time to figure out yourself at all.
Which does take a lot of time.
Which does take time. Now I'm learning me, and I'm loving me, and I'm loving who I'm becoming and the goals that I have for myself. But Asia 3-4 years ago was just Asia. She was just here. She didn't know, she ain't had no purpose. She was just here. Okay, I gotta work. Okay, you know that. That's the bare minimum. I gotta be able to pay the bills I got.
Right.
But I want more.
And that's your drive.
But that is really what it is. But coming from being married and thinking your life's gonna be this way, and you're gonna be with this person, and this is the kids you're gonna have, and then doing a whole turnaround, and then having to pick yourself from the ground up. You know how you were talking about your baby dad, and you're like, oh, you put me in this situation and you don't care. That's low-key how I felt. Like, okay, we were together, I came back home, we tried to work it out. You wanted me back home. You kept telling me to come back home. And then to turn around not even 2 months later and have me on my dad's step with nothing. No job, mind you, in the middle of a pandemic. It's wild. So now I gotta pick myself up, start over, and still figure out who I am. That was a lot.
And when you look back at it now, from where you came from, I just want you to always remember how resilient you were. Because it was never just a down and out, even though you felt that way. But you didn't get stuck there. It
took some time.
It took some, yes. And you know, it's going to take time, because again, that is trauma that you are now having to heal from, especially unwarranted. It came out of nowhere. Boom, smack. Trauma.
And it makes you feel some type of way when everybody expects you to heal on their time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but this, that, and the other, I did this. That's you. That's how you heal. That's how you function. And at that point, you had kids. You had no choice but to figure it out. But I put me in depression. And as much as I don't like to admit it, it put me in depression for years. And I didn't realize how deep into the depression I was until probably about a year ago, when I was looking back like, okay, damn, like you put yourself in this situation. This could have went bad. You could have did this and X, Y, and Z. Now, I ain't gonna say no names, but ex-husband, if you're watching this, I have no animosity towards you. What happened, and honestly, sometimes you probably do need to go through a little trauma to be the best you eventually, because you learn from these things.
Absolutely.
I have no ill will to you in my heart. I don't. I did.
I love to hear it. Don't you love to hear it? I love to hear it.
But I did. I don't blame the action, that after action, that hurt my feelings. But us splitting up, us being together and splitting up and going through this, it made me who I am now. It made me the strong woman I am now. So I'm not 100% mad at you. But at that moment, that broke me. It did broke me. It hurt my feelings.
You could be a little 99.9, you know?
And then I also felt like, with all of that, it was like, does anybody see me? Like,
Okay.
everybody hears his story. Now, do I think I was perfect in a marriage? No, I do not. And I also look back and realize what I could have done and who I could have, you know what I'm saying? What I could have done better. I could have been a better wife. I could have, you know what I'm saying? I could have did those things. But it was still, what about me? You get what I'm saying? Like, my feelings are hurting this too. I was the one who got cheated on. I'm the one who has to start over. I did sacrifice me going to school to be with him, and now I have to start over. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what about me?
Right. Because you make sacrifices for the people that you love. Especially if it's someone like your husband. Your husband. You see people get divorced after 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So do I completely say that Cam Newton's perspective was wrong? No. Because that fear of divorce is serious.
I get that, but then where does the fear of like...
Yes. I know where you're going, and I did not say that. I'm saying in that perspective of the marriage alone, not with the kids. Not with the kids. The fear of marriage alone. And that's still pretty high for me. And even though I might say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, I feel like there is still a part of my trauma that I have to heal from. Because before, let me put a date on it. Before March 27th? Oh, yeah, I wanted to get married. The bells and whistles, I wanted to do all of that.
The date is crazy.
I'm just saying March 27th because I think it was like March 30th when I left. Before that, yes, I absolutely wanted to get married. I thought I had the best person in the entire world, and whatever trauma he was causing me, it was supposed to happen. I got to the point where I felt like I deserved that. And looking back on it, I laugh and I'm just like, okay, that, the manipulation, the lies, the feeling worthless at that point. Like, hey, I just have to settle for what is being handed to me because I don't think I deserve more.
I think that's where your postpartum came into play.
My postpartum came,
self-love really went down.
right. It went completely to shreds.
At one point, I was like, this not even my sister.
I looked at myself every day. You know how hard it is to hear your baby dad say, you lost your glow. And I'm not talking about first one, I'm talking about second one. Yes, second one. I'm talking about second one. Shout out to him if he does ever see this, because he did say that. And I guess I should call him sperm donor because we have not spoken. But the day he was like, you know what?
Siri.
You lost your glow. And I believed him. Because it was true. Because on top of postpartum and the manipulation I was being put through to where, hey, I'm the best you're gonna get. And I do petty things like hand you $100 and take $50 out of your wallet while you're sleeping. I thought that that's what I deserved. And now here I am 5 months after leaving, and I feel the best I've ever felt in my life. And the worst thing you could do is let me find myself again, because baby, you never deserved me to begin with. Me in my right mind, and I feel like pregnancy had a lot to do with that. Me in my right mind, so we're going back to early 2022 me, would have never looked that man in his face twice. Ever. But towards the end of 2022, being pregnant, being in a new situation, the little breadcrumbs he was feeding me was enough to get me by for as long as they got me by for. Early 2022 me would have said, you want to go be with that girl over there? Goodbye. See you. We wouldn't have had a second conversation about it. But that trauma bond that I had now connected had got me not only one conversation, not one mishap, not two, not three, not four. We're now talking 5, 6, 7 times that we are now having the same conversation about, well, how much exactly do you respect me? Now I gotta start thinking in the back of my head. I mean, it takes a lot to have to pray to God to remove you from this. Remove me from this trauma that I keep causing myself. I'm not even respecting myself anymore. Because I keep sitting and I keep letting this happen, knowing that the actual me deep down inside that wouldn't be going through postpartum, that wouldn't be trauma bonding, that wouldn't be doing that person would not stand for any of this. And that's why some windows got broken. Because you got me messed up. No. That, I wish I would have remembered who I was.
Your windows. Another story for another time.
They already know the window story.
Oh, you did tell them that.
I did tell the window story. Because me.
But what she didn't tell y'all, that sister that was in that damn car was me. And she won't tell y'all that I got hit by that right mirror. She hit a mailbox and that shit smacked me. Pop! Right in the face. In my lap. She ignores that part of the story. Again, trauma. What about me? Here we go again. What about Aisha? Okay? You worried about just Monet in that car, not Asia Monet. I need to know, what about me? That shit smacked me. Glass could have went in my eye. And it's just, oh, we could get it fixed. What about my eye? You get it fixed. Thank God I didn't go blind. What about me? You know what? You traumatized me too.
High School Musical. What about me?
That's how I felt. What about me? Damn it. She ain't tell y'all that. I was waiting. I remember I was watching. I said, when's she gonna tell about when the mirror hit me?
Sissy, at the time, I did not know that the mirror hit you. I thought it just fell in your lap.
No. I told you. I said, Sissy, the mirror smacked me in my face. We can get it fixed. Oh, we gonna fix my face? That shit stung. Hello.
But that's what I mean by like so much built-in trust.
Let's get it in the car. Let's get it. Fuck.
So much trauma was sitting inside of me. I didn't even pay attention to my sister's face. I did not care. I wanted blood, and I wanted blood then and there. There was no, man, listen, my poor
I don't even remember what month that was.
It was April.
I don't say it had to be.
It was April because I left at the end of March.
Still fresh.
They were very much fresh because that's the thing about trying to put a time frame on healing. And it's like, at that time, you want me to do what? You want me to play side what? And I just lived in this house? And at the time, those feelings were still fresh, so I'm still thinking about going back and putting myself in that position all over again. Again, we're talking about somebody that in 2022 would have never looked twice at this man, because what exactly can you do for me? Well, and even looking back, is what did I lose out on? Air? Did I lose out on air? What did I lose? I saved money being single. You get what I'm saying? And it's the little things. And even though I will say, you know, the peen kept me blinded for
what did what's that girl that got out of jail for killing her mama?
Something Rose. Gypsy Rose. Yeah.
What'd she say? The tea was fire. That's what got her. The tea was fire. And you see she moved on quick.
And so did I. goodbye, see you, enough is enough. Because the worst thing, like I said, the worst thing you could do is let me find myself again. The worst thing you could do, if you trying to keep me hostage, and this goes for my ex, my baby dad, any of them, the worst thing you could do is let me find myself again. You catch me when I'm at my weakest. And I have to learn that that type of trauma and that bond is really not healthy. You catch me when I'm at my lowest, my weakest. Now with my first baby dad, or my first child's father, because I'm going to try to transition out of saying baby dad. Now, I don't think that there was a trauma there. I really think it was like high school sweetheart, whatever. I don't think there was a trauma there. So with him, that was different because he trapped me on purpose. But anyway.
The trauma came after the child.
That second, yes, the trauma came after the child. That second, and then that relationship after already being in a weak spot. So that first weak spot was TJ being in the hospital. That's how Mr. Sperm Donor came into play. Now I'm still in this weak position because I'm pregnant, I'm sensitive, I'm soft, and then that's how X comes into play. Breadcrumbs. The trauma just keeps unraveling. And I'm not saying I'm all the way healed, because I'm not. There's still little things I have to work on. Now, sperm donor,
you're always going to have to work on.
Yeah, of course. Sperm donor, I don't even think twice about him. X, now that was something serious. That was serious. Literally living in the house and being like every single day. Trauma. While we have a couple minutes to wrap up this already probably long wind down Wednesday, and we're gonna do this again next Wednesday because this was love. My poor baby. This is where we wrap up wind down Wednesday and just enjoy our drinks and our time, because you know what? Don't have kids. That's the best thing that I can tell you.
Nah, I do feel like life happens, things happen. Trauma's gonna happen in different ways. I just feel like it's where how you pick yourself up and move from it, and taking those lessons that you learned and actually apply them to your life. Should I have gotten married young? No, I shouldn't have. But those things made me who I am now. The way I love myself and my confidence now, I was never an ugly girl, even at my biggest. But because I didn't love myself and I didn't feel like I was that girl, I wasn't that girl. You get what I'm saying? Like, now, you can't tell me nothing. And I needed that. You know what I'm saying? I needed to learn who Asia was. You know what I'm saying? Now, I needed it. And I'm not going to say you need trauma, but you need to go through certain things to be who you are.
And cheers to that. And you guys already know how I rock. I'm back to normal. What? Back to normal? You can't tell me nothing about nothing, okay? Everything that I've been through, what? Who? Where? Huh? I don't know you. You can look that man in his face on the street and not know who he is. Who are you, sir? I've never seen that man a day in my life.
I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
Asia with the afro was different than Asia with the dreads. I ain't gonna lie, them dreads.
We gonna talk about trauma and healing on next week's episode of Why Not Wednesday, because this is not a series, boo. This is not a series. So make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, because we're gonna have many, many, many more episodes of this. And of course, if you haven't already, get yourself your dragon glassware, the Barbie kind, so you can enjoy Wind Down Wednesdays the same way we do. Bye.
Bad bitches.
I'm pretty than a motherfucker. Hoes be looking okay. She think that she fucking with me. Is this bitch okay? He said he ain't fucking around. I look at him like okay. I used to be
High
that
volume,
man, but
high
now I'm
volume,
bitch
high
okay.
volume.
I'm pretty than a motherfucker. Hoes be looking